Sunday, October, you can see it here, October 14, 2012. And their first response was to turn on the weapon again. That humming and buzzing that you hear is the weapon system turned on. Who did it? Well, the lower unit. Why? Because they're actively recruited and they've become barbaric in nature, that every little thing that a target does that they don't like, they on the weapon. That's radicalization. That's extremism in radicalization. And the lower unit, along with several of the participants at this current apartment complex, that's what happens when people become radicalized to the point of extremism, where every little thing is retaliated against by the weapons that they're being given access to. That's what makes them highly dangerous. Highly, highly dangerous to democracy, to national security. So their extreme radicalized views that because they have access, they use it, sometimes just indiscriminately, for the smallest of things, sometimes not even for anything at all, but just because they have access to them. Weapons that are set up in this apartment complex, that even my brother, who's a quality assurance engineer, listened to the sound of it because they didn't turn it off in time and said immediately, that's a transformer. The visual on the video camera, so it's harder to see. But I'm doing something called the proof of principle, where I begin to calculate when the weapons are used by these residents that live in this location and their outside friends who also have access or are brought into the building. And so what it is that if I'm watching a video, if I click on a link, reading an article, even if I say something in the privacy of my home. So the proof of principle is invasion of privacy, and how these recruited civilians retaliate. So if it's the privacy of my home, it's none of their business. But they make it their business. That's number one. What I do in the privacy of my home is none of their business. But if they are able to access the privacy of my home, then they make it their business. But they don't have a right to do that. That's in violation of the laws. Number two, if it's something that I'm watching, reading, or listening to, and they happen to not like it, their first response is to activate and turn on the weapons that can project into the privacy of this home that are set up in this apartment complex. That's number two. So what you do is you test your proof of principle by trying to isolate and figure out what civilian organizations did the Department of Defense, their private security, corporations, and educational facilities recruit in order to get them to fire the weapons so that they could do their field testing. What type of groups of people do you recruit in the civilian population who could be radicalized to become extremists? So this morning this is the video of the roof. Here's my unit. Here's the roof. What you don't see is a transformer anywhere. Where does it hit? Right around that area right there. So you're looking at this area. If I go out the door, that's my unit right there. You don't see a transformer anywhere, do you? Now what could be vibrating so loud in about that area right there? Yeah, you have these things, but so what? They're just solar panels. So there's no transformer on the roof, is there? But we do have a unit over here that turns it on and off whenever they want to. Oh, but wait a second. Look at the loudest noise that's being generated right here. Now, if there's no transformer on the roof, where's the noise being generated from? Is it here? Is it there? Is it the lower units below it? Who knows? You wouldn't be able to fit a transformer up in the crawl space. It'd collapse. Funny how the loud noise is generated. But I just showed you the roof. There's no transformers up there. So I took you up to the 4th floor to take a look at the roof. My brother even heard it in the hallway. Since he's an engineer, plugs into a wall, electrical, appliances, televisions, companies that he works for that meet the California guidelines that say that device that plugs in or appliance is safe for the market. This is what I'm going to show you. What a transformer sounds like, because he's around big equipment and small equipment. He says that that sounds like a transformer. So wouldn't a transformer then probably be, because of the size of them, be on a roof or underneath something? Isn't that funny that the loudest sound that generates out in that hallway doesn't appear to be on the roof? And I doubt it's going to be in a crawl space, because the crawl space is pretty much wood and lines, not actually places where you could put a transformer in. So what unit is housing the weapon systems?